Did you know the very first science fiction story wasn't written by Jules Verne or even Mary Shelley? It was written nearly 2,000 years ago by a satirical author who wanted you to question everything. And I do mean everything. From moonmen riding giant birds to interplanetary wars to a whale the size of a small continent filled with entire cities. And the best part, he knew it was all a lie. That was the point. So, how did this ancient joke turn into the birth of sci fi? And what does it have to do with modern day Star Trek? Stick around because the answer is more mind blowing than a warp core breach and twice as fun. Hello, my friend, and welcome back aboard Hailing Frequencies. If you're new here, this is the place where science fiction meets fun, and the trivia is always worth the transmission. Now, tomorrow we get the launch of season 3 of Strange New World with 2 episodes dropping. And if you've been following the channel, you know how often Star Trek plays with legacy, literature, and larger than life imagination. But today, I'm going way back further in time. Not to the 23rd century, not even the 19th. I'm talking about 175 AD. You've probably heard it said that Frankenstein by Mary Shelley was the first science fiction novel, and in many ways that's absolutely true. But long before Shelley's mad scientist ever shouted, "It's alive!"
It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
There was a Greek-speaking Syrian writer named Lucian who gave us a tale so bizarre, so surreal, and so ahead of its time that it makes Q look like a documentary. So what did this long-dead writer know about science fiction, and why is it relevant to the genre we love today, including Star Trek? Let's engage. The story in question is called A True Story by Lucian of Samosata. And here's the twist. It's anything but true. In fact, Lucian opens the book by saying that everything in it is a complete fabrication. He calls it the only truthful story because he admits it's full of lies. That's right, the very first work of science fiction also happens to be the first satire about misinformation. And it only gets weirder from there. Our story begins with a group of explorers setting sail across the ocean, only to be swept up by a whirlwind and flung all the way to the moon. When they arrive, they find themselves caught in a war between empires of the sun and the moon, fought by alien armies that ride giant birds, vegetables that walk and talk, and insect-like soldiers who battle in the stars. Sound familiar? Starships, space empires, interplanetary conflict. Lucian had them all in 175 AD. But wait, it gets even better. After surviving the war, the explorers are swallowed whole by a whale, a giant whale. How big, you ask? Big enough to contain entire cities, rivers, forests, and even other civilizations inside its belly. It's like Star Trek meets Pinocchio meets Galaxy Quest, with a bit of Monty Python thrown in for good measure. And this wasn't written to be taken seriously. Lucian was mocking the popular travel writers and historians of his day who made wild, unbelievable claims and tried to pass them off as fact. Here be dragons type of thing. His message: you can't trust everything you're told, especially when it's wrapped in fancy language. What's even more incredible is how many of these early science fiction tropes, space travel, alien species, cosmic wars, would later show up in everything from H.G. Wells to Gene Roddenberry. Lucian may not have intended to found a genre, but the ripples of his story can still be felt nearly 2 millennia later. So the next time you think of classic sci-fi beginnings, just remember, before warp drives, before ray guns, before Spock even raised a single eyebrow, there was a satirical Syrian spinning lies on purpose to get people thinking. So, what do you think? Does Lucian deserve the title of father of science fiction? Or is it more of a strange historical footnote in the legacy of the genre? I'd love to know what you think. So, hit that comment section and let's get into it. And if you're enjoying these deep dives into the stranger corners of sci-fi history, from Trek trivia to ancient oddities, then make sure you give this video a like. It really helps the channel reach more fellow fans like you. While you're at it, why not subscribe? I've got more discoveries, theories, and trivia coming up that will surprise even the most seasoned Starfleet officer, not to mention my videos about Season 3 of Strange New Worlds. Like I said, the first 2 episodes are coming up tomorrow, and I'm excited about it. But hey, if this is the kind of trivia that makes your dilithium crystals hum, then trust me, you're in the right place. I'm Stu Jackson, and this has been your weekly wave of Trek Trivia.